Hey, how you doing? I usually get up around about this time every morning. I try to study, exercise, do things before my family get up. I learned that from Job in the Bible. He did that. Got up every morning, prayed, um, burnt incense. I don't do the incense thing, but I do the other stuff. I pray, I read, I study, and it's kind of to keep your whole home in subjugation. A lot of people don't do that nowadays. They call themselves men of God, women of God, but they don't do the necessary things that the Bible has taught us to do. This video is it's kind of like a video of how I explain my process. Now I'm gonna tell you, when it comes to the Word of God, a lot of people love money, cars, clothes. I love the Word, and it's something that I'm working on. I hate sharing my understanding because it's something I prayed for and I fasted for, and God gave it to me in abundance. So I hate sharing it. There's only certain people I share it with that I feel comfortable sharing it with. Because this word is powerful. It's like a weapon. It's everything all in one. And if you teach it to the wrong person and they use it, they can go and mislead people. And that's what I don't want. So my process is this. My understanding is this. God give you commands, and then the Bible show you examples of the commands he give you. And the way you know is from God is God tell you, by two or more my word is established. That's why you in the Bible you see things written in like John, Matthew, Luke. You see 3 accounts of the exact same thing. It's to show that God and Jesus was the architect of this. It happened because he allowed it, he wanted it to happen. And the 3 different accounts of it is 3 witnesses of it. That's the first step in it. The second step in it is he give you a command, and then he show you in the Bible how those commands will affect you. You can see this with like what thou shalt not kill. This is the example. God said thou shalt not kill. First you got to understand what killing is. Killing is shedding innocent blood. The Bible teaches you this. It's not just killing a person. It's killing a person that's innocent in God's eyes. That's what killing is. That's what murder is. And God said, thou shalt not kill. So that's why people are like, well, why God, if God said thou shalt not kill, why he sent people to kill whole civilization? Because they weren't innocent. To God, it wasn't killing. Killing is shedding innocent blood. What Cain did to Abel was killing. Abel was, in God's eyes, innocent, and Cain slew him. Cain killed him. That was murder. That was killing. That's the difference. See, people don't understand. They try to say that's contradictory, but it's not. You have to understand God's idea of something and man's idea of something are 2 different things. That's why God tell you the world is wrong and backwards. He is right and righteous. That's why he tell you if you love him, then you can't be a friend to the world. But you have a lot of people who kind of straddle the fence, and God have a name for those people. He said you are going to be hot or cold, but if you lukewarm, I spew you from my mouth. We already know to be on fire for the Lord is to be hot for God. I mean, he encompasses every part of your life. Like my head say Jesus freak, on the back of my head say man of God. My truck say man of God. You see these people out here representing their teams. They have their team shirts. They have all this. People don't even look at those people wrong or funny, but if I walk around with my man of God and they looking at me like, oh, he doing too much. Why I'm doing too much, but this man representing a team that don't do nothing for you ain't doing too much. See, people don't love the Lord like they supposed to love the Lord. He don't encompass their life like he's supposed to encompass life. I'm saying I'm not doing this for a fad. I'm not doing this. I'm doing this because I'm showing my God how I feel about him. You know, people just so happen to look upon it, and it's a testimony of how much I love him, but I'm not doing it for people to look at me. I'm doing it for people to look towards God. That's the difference. But let's get back to my process. How I study. Okay, for instance, I'm teaching my son to be a young man of God. I'm teaching my daughter to be a young woman of God. It's something that we don't do nowadays, especially African Americans. You know, we especially don't do it because if you look at our communities, you can tell people have they have this watered down illusion of what God is. Like for instance, they say they serve God, they love God, but yet still they die hard for their gay friend or their gay family member. But the Bible tell you homosexuality is wrong, and you ain't supposed to uphold wrong. So if you got a gay family member or a gay friend, you're supposed to be telling them the truth. You ain't supposed to be condoning what they do. You ain't supposed to be making them think what they do is okay, because that's wrong. And by default, you guilty too. But we do that a lot. I don't. I teach my kids, you come back, you tell me you're homosexuals, you leaving. I'm done with you. Until you change that way, until you come back to God. I'm done with you. You know, how can I be for something that God is against? The Bible speak on that. But let's talk about these natural disasters. And this is one of the main reasons why I came out to post this video, is because of what happened in, I think, Beauregard. People look at these natural disasters and they think it's a fluke of nature. No, it's not. It's not a fluke of nature that these people are getting killed, whether they be children or adults. It's not a fluke of nature. People say, well, when children get die, they innocent, God don't. That may be true. You know, I'm still out on that. I'm still studying about that because it's intricate. But what I do know is God is in control of the weather. When things like that happen, if you read throughout the Bible, every natural disaster that happened, God was in control of it. And children died in those natural disasters. I'm going to give you an example. When God sent the plagues to Egypt, he killed the firstborn of every Egyptian. Why did he do that? People say, well, God said if he won't, the sins of the fathers and the mothers won't be visited on the children. That's true, meaning that's not God's intention. Meaning God's, see, if somebody kill, like in the real world or in everyday life, if somebody kill your son, then people want to retaliate. They want to go back and kill their son, or they want to go back and hurt them in an equal way or equal fashion. God don't do that. God has already given y'all rules and regulations. If you break the rules and regulations, it's consequences. And those consequences come whether you have children or not. Your children are innocent bystanders, or they bystanders in the bad decision that you make. Therefore, it don't come from God. It does not derive from God being angry and getting you back because of something you did. This is something he had already promised you before you did what you did. And you're going to get the consequence regardless. Now, if your child, if somebody is in the vicinity of your evil self, then they're going to catch it too. That's why it's not good to uphold wrong in no kind of way. But people want to be crying and want to do all that. I don't do that. I'm sorry to tell you, I don't do that. I don't do all that crying. I don't do all that. What's the name? Because I know, it's consequence to the things you do. It's consequence to the life you live. And I'm a witness of this. I've had children who have passed because of the things that I was doing at the time, and it is what it is. That didn't, see, a lot of times people make them draw them from God. They pull away from God. They're like, God, I was here for you. I did this. No, you wasn't. If you really sit down and think about it, you was not here for God like the people of old. Look how Job was there for God. Job got up every morning. Every morning he prayed for some evil children, and he prayed for himself for things that he didn't know he did. He knew knowingly he was a perfect being. And the Bible, see, when people say, well, Job wasn't perfect, yes, he was. Because even God told the devil that Job was perfect and upright. Perfect. He used the word perfect, and I'm sure God understands what the word perfect is. See, but people want to say, well, no, it ain't nobody perfect. That's not the truth. God tell you in the Bible, it's people that was perfect. That's why he can tell you, be ye perfect for I am perfect. Be ye holy for I am holy. God don't give you, see, the funny thing about God don't give you a command and then don't show you the execution of that command. Somebody in the Bible doing it to the utmost of what he said do. And then he have it multiple times. Because Job was not the only person that God told to be perfect. He told Abraham to be perfect. And then he said they was perfect. Let me sum it up, because I want to make sure people get the idea or the process that I'm trying to give them. I want to make sure they get this process. This is the process. God give you a command. And when he gives you a command like, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, or when he tell you something, he give you a promise, and he tell you that it's gifts that come along with obeying him and it's curses that come along with disobeying him. When he tell you these things in the Bible, it's examples of these things happening multiple times. The Egyptians did not listen to the warnings of Moses that God had sent them. The consequence were their children dying. Who are we to cry for them or mourn for them because they was being hard-headed and disobedient? The Bible speaks on when you cry and you mourn and you help people that God meant to destroy, he turns and look at you. It's like what you're saying is God is not just. God is a just God, period. What God do is righteous and right. And if you take the scientific method, this is the world's idea of how to prove something, and put it to the Bible, it proves that the Bible is the one true God wrote this Bible, because everything that's in it encompasses the past, the present, and the future. All these things are coming through. All these things are coming true. And then throughout this, they put little tidbits of information that you can go look up in the world and know it's true. Like people like the Queen of Egypt, she was a real person. They know this. She was in the Bible. She went to Moses to learn not Moses, she went to Solomon to learn his wisdom. See, these are little tidbits of information. The king of Persia is in here. We know he was a real person. These tidbits of information is to show you that this is true. Ain't no other manuscript like that. No other manuscript in history is like that. That's why you know this Bible is the truth. And all you got to do is, like I said, apply the scientific method. Let me, to make sure that you understand what the scientific method is, let me look it up, because by heart, I'm used to doing it. Scientific method. Okay, a scientific...
Here's the definition of scientific method. A method of procedure that has characterized natural science since the 17th century, consisting in systematic observation, measurement, and experiment, and the formulation, testing, and modification of hypotheses.
Simple as that. The funny thing about it is how God gave us technology. My memory was affected in a house fire, so my memory is very bad, but that don't stop me from studying the word, because I love the word. It's number one to me. What I do is, when I need... For one, I say, scriptures about being a man of God. I always say King James Version, because that's the original text. I want the King James Version because I know that God put his hand on the King James Version. If you read the King James Version all the way through from front to back, you know it's 100% complete. You don't need anything. You don't need to add anything. It's the message. It's the word of God. I know this for a fact because I've read it multiple times, and it makes it, when you read it and you want it, God says, seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be open to you. When you want the information, God will reveal it to you through the Holy Spirit. It's a piece of him. But you say what you want, and then you go down the line and you look at those different things. Like, that's what I teach my kids. If you want to be a man of God, you go down the line and you see what God say about being a man of God. Like, for instance, one of the scriptures that I read to my son to show you that a characteristic of a man of God is say, watch ye stand fast in the faith. Quit you like a man. Or quit you like men. Be strong. So that means a characteristic of a man is to be strong. That's what the Bible tells you. That's the characteristic of a man. Just like if you ask the Bible about the different scriptures that pertain to being a woman of God, and you read them and you absorb those attributes into yourself. This is your template. This is what you go at trying to be like. If you want to be a man of God or woman of God, you gotta fashion yourself like the Bible tell you that they are supposed to be. See, when you got little kids walking around and you got men acting like little girls and you tell them, stop that. That ain't how a man's supposed to act. A man is supposed to be strong. A man is supposed to be the head of the household. Women are trying to tell you, stop doing that, stop doing that. Don't do that, don't do that. My wife don't do that, but these women that don't know no better, they'll tell you that. Because they'll be like, well, let him be. No, you don't. You have to teach a man to be a man. You got to teach a woman to be a woman. That's why the state of the black community is the way it is now. You got women that don't know no better teaching men to not know better, to grow up to be men that don't know better. But they wonder why this revival. And then they be like, well, it's because of the men. No, it ain't, because the Bible speak on, if the man ain't there, just like if the king ain't there. Say, raise your men up to be men. Just because the man ain't there, that's not a reason for why, because you teaching him. All you got to do is teach him. See, the problem with women is women teach men to be the way they want them to be. They don't teach them the way they should be. And that's where you mess up at, because when you teaching men to be a man based on a woman's standards, then that's what they grow up to be. And that's what you have a product of now in this generation. Men are taking care of their kids, and if they are taking care of their kids, they doing it half-butt. They're not doing it wholeheartedly and the way God wants them to do it. They doing it based on themselves. They doing it based on what they feel. They letting their emotions run them. Well, my child is gay. It's okay. I'm going to accept him. No, I'm not. The Bible tells me not to accept him. I love the Bible more than I love my child. Yes, I did say that. I love the Bible, the Word of God, more than I love my child. Because guess what? This is what I can take with me. He made a choice. If he want to make that choice after I done taught him better, then he going to live with the consequences of that choice. But people got to understand the process. And the process, like I said again, is you find the scriptures on what it is you seeking or you searching for, and you read them and you study them, and you mold yourself to be like the scriptures tell you you're supposed to be. If whether that's a man of God, whether that's a woman of God, whether that's a father, whether that's a mother, everything you want to know, everything you need to know is right here in this word of God. And people got to understand it's a process. See, a lot of people, they were like, well, I want to be a great dad. But then they go reading books that was written by people in the world. They go reading studies that was brought up by people in the world instead of reading the Bible and apply a lot of that stuff to the Bible. Like I said, you can apply the scientific method to the Bible. If God tell you something, you do it. Implement it into your life and see how it turns out. God tell you that a man, okay, the Bible say don't drink the drunkenness. You see that throughout the Bible. And then it tell you why not to drink the drunkenness. It tell you what it is, how a drunk is, what a drunkard do. It teaches you the downfall of being a drunk, and it teaches you the upside of not drinking to drunkenness. This is how you mold yourself into being. But if you, like I said, if you apply the scientific method to that, it makes so much sense. It's productive not to drink. It's more productive not to drink than it is to drink. You look at the things that drinking entails and what it does to your body, what it does to your mind, what it does to your judgment, what it does to how people look at you. These are things that people need to know. Like I said, it's a process. God gives you the command. He tells you what to do. Then he gives you multiple examples of that command being done and how it'll turn out. People, you need to go to the Bible, and then you'll answer a lot of questions. A lot of questions. I'm going to give you one last tidbit because I'm almost done with my time. This little thing that went on about them kids passing and stuff happening, people got to understand, like I said, in the biblical times when God sent those plagues, it killed children too. It wasn't God's intention to kill children because he had already told them there's going to be consequences. So if you continue going on, the consequences got to happen, regardless of if you have children or not. That was never God's intention. His intention, like he said, was for all men to see the glory of God. But some turn away. He don't force you. He give you a choice. You should make an educated choice. You should make a choice based off of the word and not based off of how you feel. And that's what a lot of people do today. And they want to call themselves godly. You can't be godly if you're not deriving your understanding from the Bible, from the word of God. If you're deriving your understanding from the world, then like he said, you are of your father, the devil. Because that's who run this world, the devil. And if you think about it, you see it. God tell us, don't stack up money in the bank. The world teach us to save up our money in the bank. God teaches us, it's like everything that God teaches us, the world teaches us the opposite. And the Bible teaches you this and tell you this. And when you see people doing it, they be wondering why they can't progress. You can't progress because you're not focusing or you're not getting your understanding from the place you should be getting your understanding from. Thank you.